Team, maybe you're doing some hunting or scouting. Want to make sure that you can get back to where you started. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 tips, 3 techniques, 3 tricks of the trade, if you will, of how to use a USGI Cammenga Lensatic compass to get back to where you started from. So what we're going to do is we're going to shoot out an azimuth and we're going to move out 100 meters through these woods. Just you, me, and Riggs. And once we get to that 100 meter interval, we're going to stop and we're going to turn around and we're going to be able to come right back using any one of these 3 techniques. Okay, so let's get this thing going. It looks like we'll be moving at 190. And then I'm going to preset my compass by rotating the bezel ring until that tritium marker is in line with the tritium marker on my north-seeking arrow. And I'm going to look out and see if I have anything I can use as a steering mark. Unfortunately, in this brush, with the growth that there is not. So I'm going to have to pay a little bit more attention as I'm going and keeping track of my distance and direction. Last thing I'm going to do is take out my pen or ink stick and my paper, and I'm going to write down the direction that I'm going, 190 degrees, and that's magnetic. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 180 degrees, since 190 is more, and I'm going to figure out what that azimuth is, and that's 10 degrees. And that's my back azimuth. And once we get down to the other end, we just got to figure out how we can get back using that back azimuth. And one of these tricks is going to absolutely blow your mind. It's so simple and stupid. It's not stupid. Now I can put my ink stick, my pad away. We're ready to step off. The last thing I'm actually going to do, though, is look behind me and see if there's anything behind me I can use as a reverse steering mark. And again, I mean, there's nothing major or prominent that I can use. Certainly nothing I'm going to be able to identify once we get out 100 meters. So now we're going to go ahead and step it off, keep a track of our distance, and then we'll see you down there. Come on. 1, 2, 3. Hey, what are you doing back here? You can't see what I'm doing from this far away. Come on. Right now we're about halfway out. We're right at 50 meters. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot my azimuth again just to help make sure that we are moving in the right path. Again, all I have to do is just make sure that my tritium markers are lined up, which they are, and now I know that we are still good to go, still working on that azimuth of 190 degrees. The reason I'm doing that now is because it is a little bit thicker. There is no steering mark that I'm using, so I just want to make sure that I'm moving in the right path, in the same path, if that makes sense. All right, so we made it out our prescribed 100 meters. First thing first, I'm going to knock that down in my logbook that we moved exactly 100 meters. Better to take more notes than less. You could use tick marks. Because I just moved out 100 meters, I just marked it down as being 100 meters. If I was going to move more, then I would just use hash marks. Every hash mark being 100 meters. So now that I'm here, we need to figure out how we're going to get back to where we started. As you can see, there's no line of sight, man. You can't see where we came from. And so we need to have some confidence as we are moving out that we know how to make our way back. Because as I'm sure you know, every year there are thousands of search and rescue operations that are conducted to recover the injured, the wounded, and the lost. So we moved out at 190 meters. We know that our reverse azimuth is 10. So there are 3 different ways that we can get this knocked out. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts and your comments about which one is your preferred method, if you have a different method, or if any of these were brand new to you. So let's get to this. And before we even think about pulling out the compass, I want to think about the terrain and the distance that we crossed and the terrain features. So we kind of traveled downward a little bit, kind of hit a small draw, and then we're working our way back up. So keeping in mind that basic situational awareness of the basic terrain features that you encountered. So we need to be able to shoot 10 degrees. So I'm going to pull out my compass, and I have, again, 3 different ways. The first thing I can do is sit here and shoot an azimuth of 10 degrees, and then again rotate that bezel ring until the tritium markers are in line. That's step or technique number 1, if you will. And that's probably what most people do. Now our compass is good to go. I have my 10 degrees. We can step off and have confidence that we're going to return back and be able to hit that spot where we started from. So tip number 3, or tip number 2, the third tip is going to blow your mind. Tip number 2. If I had my azimuth at 190 degrees, maybe I'm moving out at night, limited visibility, maybe it's a tactical situation and I can't use white light and I don't even want to use red light. Well, my tritium markers glow, right? And every click on a Cammenga compass is 3 degrees. So if I do that math, 180 divided by 3, I have 60, and all I have to do is rotate my bezel ring 60 degrees. And in this case, it doesn't matter if I turn left or right. Once I hit 60, it's going to put me back on my reverse azimuth. So I can just sit there and count. 60, I'm on 10, we are good to go, right? Now trick number 3 I told you was going to blow your mind, and all we have to do is take that compass and turn it around. The south side of my north-seeking arrow, if that makes sense. But again, if we move left or right, and those 2 things don't end up being in line with each other, I know that I need to shift to the left or shift to the right. And the only difference is now that my line of travel arrow is towards me as opposed to away from me, but it still works the exact same way. So we have our compass preset. We know that we're moving out at 10 degrees. Let's get on up out of here. Have a little chit chat. Ready, bud? Ready? Let's go. 1, 2. All right back where we started. Let me know what you think down in the comments below about either one of these 3 techniques as far as being able to work your way back from an unknown point back to a known point. And we will continue to keep this conversation rolling. As always, I appreciate you guys. You stay out there, you keep grinding, and you stay stoked. Take it back to the truck and get out of here. Just a final thought for you, team. You know, every single morning you wake up after dealing with the same demons and battles that you've been going through day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. And the fact that you're up and you're moving forward again, that's a sign of your strength and honor. You have, I believe that we, not just you, but all of us, have much more strength than we like to give ourselves credit for, and a lot more strength than the enemy gives us credit for. So I'm going to encourage you to keep lifting yourself up, lifting up those in your community and your family, as we all keep moving forward, because we're stronger together. Appreciate you guys. Team, if you want to master your craft and develop your tactical virtue, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell so that you can stay up to date on future content. Consider becoming a channel member. It's going to give you exclusive access to content not available to anybody else. I appreciate you guys. Until then, you stay out there, you keep grinding, and you stay stoked.